93% of CFOs now say their role extends beyond traditional finance into business strategy, pricing, and enterprise-wide decision-making. That stat just dropped in a recent piece from the CFO. And on the surface, it sounds like a win for finance leadership. But read past the headline, and there's a much more uncomfortable number sitting right underneath it. 55% of junior and entry-level finance professionals say they aren't developing the skills they need to do their jobs in the future. So we have CFOs being handed a growth mandate and a bench that was built entirely for cost cutting. That's not a talent problem. That's a structural crisis. And today I'm breaking down exactly what it means, who it affects, and what to do about it. For 3 years, 2021, 2022, and 2023, the job of a finance leader was to cut, contain, and protect margin. That was the mandate. That was what got you promoted. And that was what got you paid. In 2024 and into 2025, interest rates started easing. M&A activity began to turn. Boards stopped asking, how do we survive this? And started asking, how do we grow? And suddenly, the CFO's job description rewrote itself, not officially, not with a new title or a new org chart, but functionally. You're now expected to own growth strategy, pricing strategy, enterprise decisions, the full table. Here's the problem nobody is saying out loud. Cost era thinking and growth era thinking are not the same muscle. A finance leader who spent 3 years sharpening a scalpel doesn't automatically know how to build an expansion engine. The instinct is still to contain. The mandate is now to accelerate. And that gap between what the role now requires and what the leaders in it were trained to do, that's where businesses are quietly losing ground. Now take that gap and multiply it 2 layers down. The CFO's ability to execute on a growth mandate depends entirely on the team beneath them. But 30% of finance leaders say talent attraction, retention, or an aging workforce is a top 3 internal challenge right now. And the ACCA data is even more direct. 55% of junior finance professionals don't feel they're building the skills they'll need. Nearly half of Gen Z employees say they're overwhelmed by the pace of technological change. So here's the real picture. The CFO has an expanded mandate, a new growth agenda, and a development pipeline that was designed for a different era. The junior talent being hired right now was trained to process, report, and control, not to advise, strategize, or lead through ambiguity. That's not their fault. That's the system they came up in. And the organizations that figure this out first, that intentionally rebuild the financial leadership infrastructure to match the new mandate, those are the ones that will actually be able to execute on the growth agenda everyone is claiming they have. Now, here's where I want to bring this home, because this conversation isn't just relevant to Fortune 500 CFOs. It's directly relevant to you if you're a CEO, a founder, or a business owner making financial decisions right now. The same pattern plays out at the business level. Most entrepreneurs and growing companies built their financial habits during a survival season, watching cash, keeping expenses tight, staying lean, and that discipline is real, and it matters. But survival era financial systems don't run growth era businesses. When you're ready to expand, to hire, to price for profitability, to build toward an exit or a significant revenue target, reactive money management breaks down. You need intentional financial infrastructure. That means a cash flow system that tells you what you can afford to do before you decide to do it. A pricing model built on the actual value of what you deliver, not on what feels comfortable to ask for. A tax strategy that's proactive, not something you think about in April. And financial visibility that lets you make strategic decisions with confidence, not anxiety. That's CFO level thinking. And you don't need a full-time CFO to access it. You need the right systems and the right advisor to help you build them. The article I pulled this from was vendor content from SAP Concur. It's dressed as trend analysis, but the signal inside it is real. The finance function is being asked to lead growth with infrastructure that was built for something else. Whether you're running a finance team or running your own business, the question is the same. Is your financial structure built for where you're going or where you've been? If you want to talk about what that looks like for your business specifically, the link in the description is the right next step. And if this hit differently than you expected, subscribe. I cover financial strategy for business owners and leaders who are done operating reactively and ready to build something intentional.